Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In this video, we will create an Android application called as accelerometer reading, and in this application, we will plot the change in the X, Y and Z axis of the smartphone's accelerometer. Now guys, even though we are plotting the change in the X, Y and Z axis of the smartphone's accelerometer, for controlling a robot, we will only make use of the X and Y axis. That is, for controlling a robot, we will only take X and Y value as the inputs and we will ignore the Z value. So guys, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and created a new application called as accelerometer reading. So I'll request you all to go in projects, start new project and create a new application called as accelerometer reading. Now inside this application, first I'll go in layouts and I'll drag 3 horizontal layouts. I'll place the 3 layouts one below the other. After that, I'll change the width of all the layouts to fill parent. I'll leave the height to automatic. Next, I'll go in user interface and I'll drag 2 labels inside these horizontal arrangements. So I'll drag 2 labels inside each arrangement. And since this layout is horizontal layout, you can see the labels are placed horizontally over here. Next, I'll change the component names of label 1 to X, label 3 to Y and label 5 to Z. So I'll click on label 1. I'll rename it to X. I'll rename it as capital X. I'll change the label 3 name to Y and I'll change the label 5 name to Z. After that, I'll change the component name of label 2 to X value. So I'll write this in small, X value. Label 4 will be renamed to Y value. And label 6 will be renamed to Z value. Okay. Similarly, I'll change the text of text for label 1 to X. So I'll rename this text to X. So I'll write X colon. I'll change the font size to 30 as the font size is very small. I'll change the text for label 3 to Y. I'll change the font size again to 30. And I'll change the text for label 5. Next, I'll change the text for label 2 to 0.0. I'll increase the font size to 30 again. Okay, sorry, this should be 0.0 and the font size should be 30. Next, I'll drag a button over here, which is below this horizontal arrangement 3. I will rename this button as accelerometer button. I'll click OK and I'll change this label name to accelerometer value. I'll increase the font size a little bit. I'll change the font size to 25. Okay, I'll change the font size to 20 and I'll increase the width to fill parent. Okay. So guys, let me explain you how this application will work. Now, whenever you tilt your smartphone in any direction, so during that time, you won't notice any change in the X, Y and Z values. But after you click on this accelerometer value button, so during that time, you will notice the change in the X, Y and Z values. So this is how we'll plot the change in X, Y and Z values. And depending on the change in values, we will further use these values for controlling a robot. So guys, I basically designed the user interface of the accelerometer reading application. Now there is one more component that I have to add. So the accelerometer sensor is available in the sensors option. After that, I'll drag the accelerometer sensor on the screen. Now, as you can see, the accelerometer sensor is a non-visible component. Next, I'll go inside the block section. Now, inside the block section, I'll first select the accelerometer button and I'll choose the accelerometer button dot click block. Now, inside this block, I'll put a block from the X value. So guys, as you can see over here, I've selected the X value block and not the X block. Now, from the X value block, I'll choose this dark green block. And from the properties, I'll choose a property which says text and I'll put this block over here. So since I want to change the text of the x value from 0.0, as you can see currently the text is 0.0. So as I want to change the text from 0.0 to whatever the new value of acceleration is, so for that I'll click on the accelerometer sensor block, and from the accelerometer sensor block I'll choose this block which says accelerometer sensor 1.x axle. So now when the user clicks on the accelerometer button, so during that time the text of x value will change from 0.0 to whatever the new value of acceleration is. After that, next I'll right click on this dark green block and I'll click on duplicate. After that I'll put this block over here, and instead of x value I'll change this to y value, and the x acceleration I'll change this to y acceleration. I will right click on this y block and I'll click on duplicate again. I'll put this block below the y block and I'll change this to z value, and I'll change this to z acceleration. So guys, I basically finished with the accelerometer reading app. So guys, after completing the app, next I'll request you all to click on build, and you can either scan the QR code or you can download the APK file inside your computer. In the next video, I'll show you how to plot the x, y and z values.